This monument is a reminder of the bravery and courage of our armed forces and the sacrifices made in the line of duty. It is dedicated to the only Medal of Honor recipient of Clackamas County. This is the story of Larry-Dahl. This is the story of his sacrifice. Larry-Dahl was born in Oregon City on June 10, 1949. By the time he graduated high school, Larry had met his wife, Michelle, and soon their son Michael was born. In 1969, Larry enlisted in the Army while in Portland, Oregon, and trained at Fort Lewis and Fort Benning, earning the rank of Specialist 4th Class. After repeated requests, Larry was deployed as a heavy truck driver and vehicle mechanic, serving with the 359th Transportation Company in the Quy Nhon region of Vietnam. With convoys and supply lines as a favored target by enemy forces, armored convoys and gun trucks like Brutus dealt with ambushes often. Each gun truck that supported these hardened convoys had a distinct identifier painted on its side that was intended to instill fear in enemies. Pandemonium, the Untouchable, and Brutus all served to protect and support these transportation and supply corridors. Brutus itself was operated by a 4-person crew consisting of a driver, 2 gunners, and a commanding officer. It was equipped with 2 .50 machine guns and a rear-mounted 7.62mm minigun. During his time in the motor pool, Larry, along with Richard Bond, Ronald Mallory, and Charles Hauser, grew close with the primary crew of Brutus. They were the only ones trusted to replace the crew in case anything were to happen. On November 21st, 1970, Brutus was attacked and struck with an RPG. The rocket hit the driver's side just above the tire and instantly killed the driver and wounded the other crew members. Brutus was subsequently downed for repairs, but after great pain and restoration, the gun truck was back in fighting order, this time under the command of Larry and his crew. On February 23, 1971, just 2 months after taking over Brutus, Larry and Company deployed as part of the 545th Light Truck Company to escort a fuel convoy en route to Pleiku. 2 other gun trucks, the Misfits and the Untouchable, as well as a gun jeep called Little Brutus, supported the convoy. Staff Sergeant Hector J. Diaz replaced Richard Bond that day as commanding officer and operated the minigun. Charles Hauser operated the radio. Larry manned one of the .50 machine guns, and Ron Mallory served as the driver. After just having passed through Anki Pass, the lead convoy was attacked by a full battalion of enemy combatants, ambushing from jungle cover. This would be the beginning of one of the fiercest ambushes that the Transportation Division ever engaged in. For over 30 minutes, intense fighting pinned the front of the convoy in a kill zone. Finally, relief rang in the distance as Brutus' minigun and .50 cal approached to suppress and push back the ambush. With the buzzing of rounds from the minigun came a jolt to the Allied forces' morale, and the tide quickly began to turn. But the fighting fiercely continued for another 15 minutes until a lull finally filled the battlefield. Thinking the battle had subsided, the crews of Brutus and the Misfits were ordered to rejoin their section of the convoy. As Brutus began its maneuver to turn around, a group of enemy soldiers resumed their attack and charged from the high ground on the other side of the road. Diaz heard Dahl yell "frag" as the enemy forces approached to lob a grenade into the gunbox atop Brutus. Without hesitation or regard for his own safety, Specialist 4th Class Larry G. Dahl threw himself on top of the grenade and contained the blast with his own body. Mallory raced the truck to safety, and thanks to the bravery of Larry-Dahl, Diaz, Mallory, and Hauser survived the blast. The Medal of Honor, the highest U.S. military award, was awarded posthumously to Larry-Dahl on August 8, 1974, and presented to Dahl's widow, Michelle, and son, Michael. In addition to the Medal of Honor, Larry had also been decorated with the Purple Heart, National Defense Service Medal, and Vietnam Service Medal. In the fall of 1998, a 50,000 square foot Watson-class cargo ship, dubbed the USNS Dahl, was launched and set off on its maiden voyage. Vietnam gun truck veterans cite Larry Dahl's ultimate sacrifice as evidence of the strong bond among gun truck crews. Larry Dahl was 21 at the time of his death and has since been laid to rest at the Willamette National Cemetery in Portland, Oregon.